Hey everybody, BATJAC J.W. here, and we're talking about World War I today. And, well, a lot of times when somebody says, hey, BATJAC, World War I, what is the first thing that comes to my mind? I know. Most people say, well, yeah, duh. But we're talking about something else that's really cool about World War I. Behold, boom. I learned about this, and I just couldn't help myself. So what it is it's the cool knuckle duster trench knife. That is so awesome. You can get a lot of these, the cheaper ones that are more inexpensive, say like the $15, $20 range that you would get from the other websites. I used to have one. I wasn't that excited about it because it was kind of like, It was more like pot metal that was painted gold, and yeah, there you go. So anyway, this one here, I learned they actually make a really decent reproduction of it. And yeah, there it is. This one comes from the International Military Antiques website, IMA, and they made one faithful to the original. This is what you get when you get it. Very greasy, covered in grease. They got the markings right and everything like that. And the cool thing is the handle, the grip, the knuckle and everything, this is actually brass. Unlike some of the other knockoffs that are those cheaper copies where they're just kind of, like I said, seems like pot metal that they just kind of painted gold. They got the spike on the end right down, and now here's a nice little touch they added. The scabbard is even marked correctly the way they would have been. From what I understand, they actually made this from an original. They copied the original right away. So here's the blade. Here's what you get. You'll notice it's covered in grease, and they antiqued it. They did their own antiquing on it, but you can see the kind of the shine from it. If it was indeed what you would say, like a legit, like tarnished brass, it probably wouldn't have that shine or whatnot. But I just wanted to show you what you get out of the package, and then what you can do, what I done to it. So let's do a little bit of video magic here and go like this, boom, and bang. Now we can see what you get. This is what I've done to it to basically let it kind of tarnish on its own. Polished it up myself and I'm going to let it kind of take its own little tarnishing and everything. And now what I've done here, when you get these, and I did read this, you might need to kind of pinch these a little bit. I just took a screwdriver and an anvil and just kind of lightly tapped each area here. This helps secure the blade a lot more. So, and then the blade, as you can see, it'll kind of nicely, it's not like a mirror shine, but mine's a little bit more polished, worn out, not worn off the finish because of the way they do it. Now, for my thoughts on it, the way they did the antiquing was really, they just kind of slathered some cheap cold bluing on it, and they probably did it that way. I wanted mine to age naturally just by handling it and handling the brass, and the brass will kind of start to look like some, like some of your old bullet casings that's been around for a while. That's what it'll start to do naturally. So I just wanted to show you that. Overall, I'm really impressed with it because it is indeed an actual brass handled one and not the, like I said, the pot metal or whatnot. It seems really secure down in there. I have not actually undid this or anything to take it apart. I just really didn't want to. First thing I wanted to do was really actually test it out for myself before I even made this video. So I actually stabbed a box quite a bit. I'll show you briefly what I've done. I just kind of wanted to really test it and put it through its paces. So I took this box and hit it a couple of times. You can see here, it's a few layers of some heavy duty cardboard, because I wanted to see if the blade was going to loosen up. Basically, I wanted to know, hey, how well is this thing? Because I know you're waiting for the price. How much is this thing? Is it worth it? Is it really expensive? Well, it's a kind of thing where you get what you pay for. It's not going to be your $20, $30, $50 knife that you're going to buy from one of those websites. It's just basically going to be kind of shoddy and put together, just kind of slapped together, and there it is. No, this you're looking at $150 $50 for one of these, but it's kind of neat if you're really into these, the old knuckle duster, brass knuckle knife and everything. This is definitely the best copy I think you can buy if you're really into them. I've always been into these, but like I said, my first impression of these reproductions was one of those cheapo $15-$20 ones that where I stabbed a few boxes and the blade loosened right up where it started to have movement in there. Now mine, no movement at all after doing some pretty heavy duty punching it through some cardboard boxes and whatnot. Tip held up pretty good. I even stabbed a tin can to test the tip. I wanted to see just how well and durable that tip would last there. And of course, the coming into contact with some metal, at least a tin can, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but the tip is still very much intact. And then, of course, the edge is not sharp. They do not come sharp in the edge, but it does have a heck of a tip on it. The cool thing about the knife, again, is this is such a great example of primitive warfare. There's just no questions about it when you look at this thing. It's like, this was not made for chopping firewood. I mean, this was battle in the trenches. This was for sticking, punching, clobbering, bludgeoning, just really cool. And the fact that it is all brass, that is just so cool. I've loved the way that feels. It's just really awesome. And of course, the bottom here, that spike, and then you can see here, really nicely done. Like I said, the craftsmanship is pretty nice. You'll see inside the rings, there is the, you can tell where they ground them out. But you know what? I was actually going to go over them with sandpaper and thought about that. But you know what? It actually, with that texture, it gives you something to kind of grip onto. Because the handle itself is actually smooth. But I'll give an update video as it tarnishes and looks a little bit more tarnished and not so like brand new. Brass, believe it or not, actually was a lot more shiny when I first originally polished it. But if you check out my Patreon page, you'll see me doing so. But anyway, like, share, and subscribe. I'm BATJAC J.W. I wanted to bring you this awesome trench knife. It's just super cool. Like I said, the International Military Antiques really hit it out of the park with this. They definitely done a really fantastic job. There you go.